So in this lesson you learned how to solve systems of equations. So here's an example of a system of equation. So we can solve this by representing it with a matrix equation. In the matrix equation oh no. Can we go back? Let's just pause here. Okay, in the matrix equation we can represent the coefficients in our system of equations. Here's our system. In a matrix. So here's our system. And you see we've put those coefficients in a matrix. This 3 by 1 matrix represents the variables x1, x2, x3. And the last column matrix here is what we have here on the other side of the equal sign. Now, if you were to multiply the left-hand side here, let's see, you would get 0 times x1, which gives you 0, plus 1 times x2, which gives you plus x2, plus 5 times x3, which is plus 5x3. And if we multiply the second row times the column here, we'll get x1 plus 4x2 plus 3x3. And the last row times the column gives us 2x1 plus 7x2 plus x3. And that's equal to -4, -2, -2. Now you can see here that this is exactly our system of equations above, right? This equation here says x2 plus 5x3 equals -4, and that's exactly what this equation was here. Okay, so we've represented our system of equations with a matrix because it makes solving this system much easier. Okay, so if we move on, here we can represent this with an augmented matrix. And now in this matrix, see, we've got our coefficient matrix in the first position, and the last column is the column matrix that was on the right-hand side of the equal signs. Okay, and we want to do some row operations to this to get it to reduce to echelon form. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is replace row 1 with row 2. Whoops. Okay, so when I replace row 1 with row 2, this is what we get. Now you can see we have a 2 down here in row 3, and that's what we want to get rid of. And so to do that, we can add -2 row 1 to row 3 and replace row 3 with that. And so that's what we're going to do here. There we go. Now we've got a -1 in this last row, and we want to get rid of that by adding row 2 to it. So row 2 plus row 3 gives us this. Now you can see here this last row gives us 0, 0, 0, -2. Now remember, this represented a system of equations, and so what this says is that 0 equals -2. Of course that is false, right? 0 is not equal to -2. So that means that this system of equations is inconsistent and that there is no solution.